although there is no ruku in that and there is no tilawa in that. It's just one sajda, but it is considered a form of prayer, a form of salah. So this much most of us already know, that if you recite an ayah containing Sajdah-e-Tilawat, then Sajdah-e-Tilawat becomes obligatory upon you, becomes wajib. And there are 14 such verses in Quran, throughout the Quran, that have the ayah which requires Sajdah-e-Tilawat if you recite it. Like reciting, listening to such ayah also makes Sajdah-e-Tilawat obligatory. The only caveat is that if you are listening to a recording of something, whether it is an audio recording or a video recording, but it has been recorded previously, could have been recorded 5 minutes ago or 5 years ago or 50 years ago. But if you're listening to a pre-recorded voice which contains the recitation of Sajdah-e-Tilawat, then Sajdah-e-Tilawat does not become obligatory. It does not become wajib. So in order for Sajdah-e-Tilawat to become wajib, it has to be a live recitation. Now that live doesn't have to be in person. It could be virtual as well. You could be talking to someone on FaceTime. You could be listening to someone's Quran over the phone, or you could be watching live on YouTube or something like that, Taraweeh prayers or Salah from somewhere else, and Imam is reciting it live and you're listening it live. It's not pre-recorded. In that case too, Sajdah-e-Tilawat will become wajib. But I would like to point out 3 scenarios which are probably common, but since we are not adequately equipped with the knowledge, so we may not have an idea, we may not have an answer to such scenarios. So the first scenario is, for example, you are in the masjid and you are just talking to someone or just standing there on your phone, looking at something on your phone or something like that, and you hear someone reciting Quran loudly and they recite an ayah of Sajdah-e-Tilawat. Now that could be someone like Imam. Sometimes people, this happens in Taraweeh prayers, you're just chatting in the back and the Imam is reciting Quran in prayer. So all the sound is going in your ears. You didn't plug your ears. So the sound is still going in your ears. So the Imam comes across ayah of Sajdah-e-Tilawat and you hear it. So in that case, even though you were not with the Imam, but Sajdah will become wajib upon you. So that's the first scenario. Second scenario is, like for example, right now, Mother Mustafa is praying over there and I start reciting Quran over here. Whether I'm reciting as an Imam in Salah or I'm just reciting right now not as an Imam, but he hears it. The sound of my tilawah goes into his ears. Anybody who's so one scenario is the other person is doing his own prayer. So now even if you're doing your own prayer, your ears are still open. And that's why it bothers us if someone is talking in the masjid loudly and you're doing your own prayer, because all those chit chats are going in your ears and you are getting distracted. So your ears are still open. So if you hear someone reciting Quran and they recite ayah of Sajdah-e-Tilawat and you are in your own salah and you hear it, Sajdah-e-Tilawat still becomes wajib upon you. However, you are not going to do it right away. You will finish your prayer, and after finishing your prayer, then you will do it. If someone, after listening to the recitation of someone else from outside, and they act on it, they perform Sajdah-e-Tilawat immediately, that Sajdah-e-Tilawat will not count as Sajdah-e-Tilawat. They will not lose their salah, it will not invalidate their prayer because they did an additional sajda. However, that sajda will still not count as sajdah-e-tilawat. They will have to do it again in order to fulfill that obligation. So that's second scenario. Third scenario is of a person who's not engaged in his own salah, he was not in salah at all, but he listens to the imam. So he comes into the masjid and the imam is reciting the ayah of Sajdah-e-Tilawat. So he hears it. Now, there are two possible scenarios. One, he joins the imam after the imam performs Sajdah-e-Tilawat. In that case, he will have to do his own afterwards. But if he is able to join the imam before imam does Sajdah-e-Tilawat, then of course that Sajdah-e-Tilawat that he will do with the imam will suffice for him as well. Even though when he heard it, he was not with the imam. He was not a follower of the imam. He was not muqtadi. However, if he joins the imam in time and he is able to perform Sajdah-e-Tilawat with the imam, in that case, that will suffice him for that obligation as well. So these are three scenarios.